I equally have with me the Business Daily, so we'll try and interrogate some of these headlines even as you head out there, start your day and grab yourself a copy of the dailies. Joining me in studio to help us deliberate on these matters and more, Michael Agwanda, governance expert, Fred Okango, the Secretary General of Third Way Alliance Party, and Joseph Kioko, who is a political analyst. Okango, I know you are holding back on your thought as we finalize on the wooing that is happening, as Ruto's camp seems to be wooing Kalonzo Musyoka. Just recently, we had of a planned NDC within the Jubilee Party planning to kick out rebels, including the deputy party leader. That happens to be the Deputy President, William Ruto. From where you sit, are there any consequences to such a move if and as of when it happens? Or is it all political gimmicks with the net effect perhaps being on February when politicians are actually allowed to crisscross within the parties? What say you about that impending exit from the Jubilee Party for the rebels?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just there are very huge consequences. You know, first of all, I've heard people argue that it will not affect the deputy president in any way. Remember, the Political Parties Act stipulates that when you are a member of one party and you push the agenda of another party, helping the formation of another party, helping spreading or selling the agenda or ideologies of another party, then you shall have been deemed to have resigned from a previous party. As it is now, going by the provisions of law in the Political Parties Act, DP William Ruto and his rebels must be deemed to have resigned from Jubilee. When I listened to SG Tuju the other day, when they say that they are going to ensure that they kick out the rebels, then I am confident that they'll start with DP. But how is it going to affect him? This is how it's going to affect him. He was elected by President Kenyatta on one ticket. The ticket was Jubilee ticket, and therefore he is President of Republic of Kenya, courtesy of Jubilee ticket as a party. So the moment he's kicked out as the deputy president of the Republic of, as the deputy party leader of Jubilee Party, then he risks also being, put to pressure to resign as the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Today, he has accused his competitors of using state resources. But this is a deputy president, by provision of law, supposed to be the principal assistant to the president. He has abandoned his duty. What he has done is using his state resources, he's using government resources to campaign for 2022, while he is still in office and disparaging the same government that he serves. Yesterday, when I was on my way from Nairobi to Nakuru, I met him along the way with these people. All those vehicles he was using, Gilgil, Naivasha, when I was seeing him, I was coming to Nakuru, are all government resources, are all government vehicles. And therefore, he is the last person to disparage his competitors. Number two, it is important to note also that the reason why probably Jubilee are doing this, they're doing this to prepare ground for a mega coalition. When Raila Odinga says that on 9th December, he's going to make a major announcement, Kenyans know that Raila Odinga has been running, or Kenyans know that Raila Odinga will be running. But look, when he says in Nairobi, and look at the choice of venue, he said that come 9th of December, Jubilee and ODM are going to come one thing, or is going to give an indication of how they are going to form a mega coalition. I see a situation where even some of the political parties that are not mentioned will join that. No one wants to associate with the losers. Everyone wants to associate with the winners. And to that effect, it means that Ruto is becoming lonely every day. And that's why you see him now going for Kalonzo, going for other people, because he realized that there's a mega tsunami that is coming in this country that will not cope up. So in my view, the announcement by SG Tuju to hold an NDC of kicking rebels is like cleaning the house so that you welcome the new visitors. The new visitors are not only Kenyans, but also political parties that have shown that we must strengthen devolution, political parties that have shown that we must fight corruption, political parties that have shown that we must include youth and women in government, political parties that have shown that it is only fair to create employment, not through a model that is not working, but a model that has been tested called devolution through objects and, objects and a principle of devolution.
Right.
And that means that model is going to take resources to the grassroots. Those resources are being stolen every day to the tune of 2 billion. I have not heard the yellow fever guys telling Kenyans how they are going to stop corruption. But I've heard other aspirants telling Kenyans how they are going to stop corruption and how they are going to use the same money for social welfare. So I believe that the cleaning that is going to happen in Jubilee will be a bigger cleaning, a clean sweep that will now welcome the visitors, and those visitors are all Kenyans in equal measure and shall go all the way to 2022 to form the new government. I can confidently tell you, Jesse, that the way I look at things, Ruto is very scared, is damn scared.
Interesting. I don't know if you hold the same thoughts, Gwanda. Is there any consequence? Is it an effort in futility in terms of the cleanup in Jubilee? Because according to Mutula Kilonzo Jr., he's sponsored by the Jubilee Party, and once he loses that sponsorship, trouble will come following the deputy president. But those also argue that perhaps it's an effort in futility. It's been a long time coming. They've talked about it over and over again. And according to the deputy president, bring it on. He's already in UDA. What say you about the consequence before we evaluate the ODM Jubilee merger?
I think the bring it on kind of language is the language that the deputy president has used to scare the other aspirants and possible affiliate parties to his UDA party. And as Okangwa has said, the deputy president, in my view, ought to have resigned way, way back. It is not possible for you to work with the president that you are actually the principal assistant to, and then criticize him and call his name every single day, insult his associate, and specifically his handshake associate, Honorable Raila Odinga, in every function you have. When you insult, sometimes when you insult friends of your friend or your boss, what you're trying to say is, I am insulting my boss. I have no respect for my boss. And in this case, the deputy president has no single respect for President Uhuru Kenyatta, which is quite unfortunate. Yet President Uhuru Kenyatta is a symbol of unity for the entire country. And he has not realized that by fighting Jubilee and by fighting President Uhuru Kenyatta, is also fighting his affiliates and is fighting the unity that has been realized in this country as a result of the handshake. Now he has realized, just as Okangwa has said, that he's alone in this game. And the pronouncement of Honorable Raila Odinga yesterday in Mathare is even putting him into more pressure. And some of his advisors perhaps are telling him that things are not as rosy as you might have thought about it. Because if there will be a merger between Jubilee and ODM, I can tell you, Honorable Raila Odinga, even with the merger of Jubilee and ODM in the past, in 2017 and in 2013 and 2017 and 2007, has dented the votes of this country to a point where he was just short of being pronounced as the President of the Republic of Kenya. But of course, we all know what has happened. What if now they merge with Jubilee? I can tell you, there is no iota of doubt in my mind that they will form the next government. The question, therefore, that we need to ask ourselves is, do you want to join UDA so that you are part of the strong opposition, or you want to join a party that is going to form the next government, and that is Jubilee and ODM for that reason? And I think that's what our Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka perhaps will be battling with in the next few days, and that's what some of his advisors are going to be speaking about in the next few days. The question is, does Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable Wetangula, Honorable Moi, and Honorable, do they want to be part of the opposition or part of the government? I don't think any of those Oka principles will want to be part of the opposition, but they will want to be part of the government. They know how the government system works, they know how the election system works, and they know that if President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga forms a coalition, then there is no possibility. The fundamental question, therefore, that they need to ask themselves now, and that is for Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, Musalia Mudavadi, and Honorable Gideon Moi, is what we want in this government.
Okay.
What what position do we want? And if it's not position, how do we negotiate for a small thing? We are aware, and this is, in public domain, that perhaps Honorable Raila Odinga will get his deputy president from Central Province. And we know that the deputy president is also fishing for a deputy president in Central. And so when Kalonzo Musyoka, when Moses Wetangula and the other OKA affiliates want to negotiate for this position, then they better come out now, because if they wait longer, then perhaps some of them might not even get a pie of the cake that is going to be part of this collusion with Jubilee and ODM. Because sometimes when you wait for too long, you'll find when the table has already been prepared and everybody has been already given a position. I'm not talking about positions here, but I'm talking about the votes that they need to bring on the table. Okay. And as it is today, I think Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka may bring more votes on the table, but he has to make the decision now. He has to really talk to this gentleman now. Otherwise, he'll find himself in a place where basically what will be left will not even be convenient for him, and then he decides to go out there. But if he goes out there and goes it all alone, then the question is, what position does he want? We know for sure that if Deputy President runs, and is going to run, he will be perhaps a strong opposition leader that we'll have in the next government. But then what will Kalonzo Musyoka have if he goes on this all the way? We know that Honorable Wetangula is not looking for a specific position, because he has very few votes for that reason to bring on board in this case. But Musalia Mudavadi has also few votes that he can bring on the board. But the problem with the OKA is all of them think that they can be the president, and that is their biggest undoing. If they had already decided on who they want to be the president now, perhaps they'll be talking as a team and saying collectively, these are the votes we have, and they can negotiate on the next government.
Interesting. Let's see, because they mentioned there are many amongst equals, and whoever is picked as the presidential candidate will get the support of the others. But Kioko, away from One Kenya Alliance, away from Kalonzo Musyoka, let's focus on Raila Odinga, who's supposed to declare his game plan come December 9th for 2022. Many assume he's running, if anything is to go by his maneuvers across the country, the latest indication. But the ODM Jubilee merger, that's the big news. According to Raila Odinga just yesterday, he said this: in this Nairobi, we have ODM and Jubilee. We are joining ODM and Jubilee. Is there anyone who can defeat us? We want all MCAs, MPs, Senate and governor seats won by the team. Perhaps hinting at the formidable force in terms of joining hands between the Jubilee Party and the ODM. But we well know, Kioko, negotiated democracy at times locks out many contenders. Is this an issue that ODM Jubilee should look at going forward in terms of locking out those who might have wanted to participate in the polls? Well, what's your take on this?
I think first, in terms of the Raila candidature, if it quacks like a duck, swims like a duck, it's a duck. Raila is in this thing. Raila is running for presidency. The December 9th declaration will be a culmination of so many factors. We've seen him go around this country. We've seen him propagate his ideological approach into the politics. We've seen him make pronouncement that he's seeking for partners. So I believe Raila is running for presidency. This December 9th will just be the formal announcement of it. In terms of the merger of ODM and Jubilee, in all fairness, the strong political party in that merger is ODM. This Jubilee is reminiscent of the KANU of 2002. Yes, there was KANU with a rich history. Yes, there was KANU with the late President Daniel Arap Moi. Yes, there was KANU that had a perceived network of people. But when Moi decided, the late President Moi decided to endorse Uhuru as a presidential candidate, what happened to KANU is that it remained a shell of a party. So yes, you can have a merger with Jubilee, but this Jubilee is not the Jubilee of 2017. This Jubilee is not the Jubilee that everybody thought will be the machinery that will run roughshod over people. This is a shell of a Jubilee, with the only thing that it has going with itself is state apparatus and government machinery. But in terms of the numbers seen by the perceptions and performance in the recent by-elections in those areas that are supposed to be its stronghold. It's not the Jubilee that one would want to place a lot of value on it. So ODM is the party that is the stronger partner in this conversation with Jubilee. But does it need Jubilee to survive? I think it's politics of the day. Does it add value to the candidature of Raila Amolo Odinga? Yes, it creates some perceived traction of being in government. Does it create some disadvantage to Raila Amolo Odinga's candidature? Yes, Raila becomes a project of the state, a tag that he has always never wanted to be associated with, carrying the tag of a project. So I think people need to be very careful about it, but for as long as how far it has reached, it might be hard to pull back. In terms of the politics of Nairobi and the country, we need to look at Nairobi from a real political base. Raila carries mass influence, 50% or over 50% of political influence in Nairobi. Okay. Nairobi has been his strong political base, leave alone Luo Nyanza or other areas of the country, bringing in Jubilee and the attendant benefits that come with the combination with Maina Kamanda, Peter Kenneth, some Kikuyu elites in Nairobi. That is what needs to be observed more. That is what will be put under scrutiny as we move forward. Because if a by-election in the home county of Murang'a which happened previously, and Peter Kenneth was not able to influence there, then you ask of what political value would he add to Raila in Nairobi, given the nature of the politics that are at play. So there are a lot of issues in this merger, good optics, but reality, in terms of real politics, it becomes hard to fathom. Then there's an issue you talked about in terms of what this merger portends to the deputy president. I think on account of pushing the UDA agenda, okay, it places him in an awkward position with the Jubilee party. Do they have ground for his removal? According to Section 151, it's an impeachment issue. They can only take him to Parliament for an impeachment motion, and they will require the numbers. I do not think they will have those numbers enough to have him impeached. It might even turn around to be a vote of confidence because he has the numbers of MPs in Parliament and in Senate, okay, to forestall that thing. So I don't think it will be it will be a good exercise to want to pursue. Remove him from Jubilee, it is too late in the day to make any meaningful change in terms of the leadership of Jubilee, but remove him. In terms of coming to attack him as the deputy president, you only end up giving him more sympathy votes to many Kenyans. You also create a situation where the blames for the misfortunes or misperformance of this government are lumped on Uhuru's and by extension Raila. So your best bet for me is let the man enjoy the privileges of being the deputy president till the end result, where people will vote, and they will vote consciously, and they will not vote for him, really. Okay. We don't need these games that add him sympathy and distort the playing ground.
So it seems to be a double-edged sword. Anyway, yes, Okango, let's shift focus. Perhaps let's talk about Martha's social welfare. And Raila Odinga, according to the front page of the Daily Nation, is set to hand beneficiaries 6,000 Kenya shillings. That's to the families in need and not the youth as earlier indicated. But the big question is, how exactly does he hope to raise this colossal amount of cash? 12 billion every month in terms of this social welfare funds. And according to him, he's worked in government and he will seal all corruption loopholes and redirect funds that will be slashed from ministries' budgets, with some dockets taking a 25% hit. So according to you, Okango, is this a pipe dream or a well thought out policy?
Just if you can just repeat the question. I think I lost you for a moment there.
Perhaps we just wanted you to interrogate the social welfare policy that stand taken by Raila Odinga in terms of his promise. And he said, ahadi ni deni. So is it a pipe dream from where you sit in terms of raising this colossal amount of cash? He might need 12 billion every month in order to run this social welfare program targeting the neediest in the society, 6,000 stipend handed over to the beneficiaries. How exactly will this money be raised? Is it a pipe dream, or are we being taken for a ride, or is it a well thought out policy? How do you look at it?
If you ask me, Jesse, it's a well thought out dream. And I'll tell you why. Remember when Raila Odinga first mentioned it, his immediate competitors dismissed it because it was eating into their voting bloc that they call the lowly place. Social welfare programs have been tested before. They are all over. In other countries, they are practiced. But he's talking about 6,000 per family. And in this country, we know that we lose 2 billion per day. The President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, went on a national TV and national radio stations and announced to the public that we lose 2 billion per day. That is not a joke. The president knows what he's talking about, and he knows where this money should come from, the money that is being stolen. So in my understanding, it is very easy to cushion the lonely place by providing stipends to them, by providing a social welfare program. In fact, if you ask me, it should even be more, at least 10,000 per family, so that that money that we lose through wastage of resources, through theft of public money, through corruption, can be channeled towards uplifting and securing the lives of Kenyans. Number two, it is important also to note that the government does collection through taxation. And if you look at the tax regime that we have, it also tells us that majority of Kenyans don't pay tax. And that's why Gideon Moi and the team are saying we have to relook at the taxation plan. Gideon Moi has also told Kenyans that the only issue that we must fix so that we fix other many more is fix the issue of corruption, because corruption is the cancer that is killing dreams of young people. It is the cancer that will deny people that stipend that Raila Odinga is talking about. In fact, even the economic model that the yellow fever has been flying around with, that economic model cannot work. If at all it can work, it cannot work if they don't tell Kenyans how they are going to fix the issue of corruption.
Okay.
The corruption in this country is systemic, it's no longer systematic. It means it is wholesome. And if you look at the source is within the people that are serving as state officer. The authority assigned to a state officer is a public trust that must be exercised in a manner, and in that manner does not involve stealing of public money. So I've seen situations where 63 billion lost, 100 billion lost, NYS, Kenya Power, Kenya Pipeline, all those, if you look at the money that has been lost, Jesse, you can actually put that money into right use by uplifting the lowly place. Having said that, Gideon Moi and team have also told us that, you know what? They are willing to strengthen devolution by adopting the word as the primary unit of accelerated development. And that's why I agree with Agwanda when he says that the OCA team must now realize and agree on which part of the, of the curve they belong. And if you assess them, they speak strengthening devolution. They speak supporting the lowly place. They speak fighting corruption. That is the language that Raila Odinga's team have been speaking. So there's no doubt that the OCA team are the traditional ally of Raila Odinga. And who knows, maybe if Raila does say that he's not running, he would pick one of the OCA. What if he picks Gideon Moi, who has been endorsed by his NDC as the presidential candidate? What if? So, again, I take you from, when Uhuru Kenyatta became the president, no one knew that Uhuru Kenyatta would become the president. In fact, he was dismissed, and people said it can never be. Look at the rallies that Gideon Moi has been holding. Look at Kericho that scared the yellow fever to the ground. They were scared. They never thought that Honorable Gideon Moi would bring such a big crowd of registered voters, people who believe in his party, people who believe in strengthening devolution. And what if he delivers that mass to Raila Odinga? What if? It means the politics is a world of possibilities. So for me, I think the discussions around models, the discussion around the 6,000 is a discussion that is coming at the right time, but it is pegged on where is the source of the money. The source of the money, the immediate source of the money is where the thieves get their money. That is the source of that money. Okay. We must speak loudly about it because in this country we are rich. The government collects over 1.9 trillion. That a third of that is stolen. If a third of that is stolen, how about we protect the privilege, we protect the wastage, and take that money to to the 2 million Kenyans or 2 million families that are suffering.
Okango,
it is possible, it is doable.
Okango, since we're speaking about sealing loopholes, perhaps let's talk about fighting of corruption, specifically at the Kemsa authority. Do you believe the approach taken by the government right now in terms of restructuring, perhaps the NY is taking over, it's hinted for at least 2 months as they try and seek new recruitment? What say you about this? Have we lost it?
No. I believe it's the right direction. Let me tell you, Jesse. This country, the disciplined forces are efficient, they are disciplined, and they are very, very keen on securing the public resources. And if you look at what President Kenyatta has done, in the past, he has tried using the military to resuscitate some of the collapsing institutions. Look at Kenya Meat Commission, look at NMS. Now, if the NYS and the military take over Kemsa for a few days, few months, then I am confident that they are going to unearth the biggest scandal of thieves. And these are the money that have been stolen that we're talking about. So in my view, that takeover by one NYS and military at Kemsa, Kemsa is a story that has been told before. Remember the COVID, when some of the kits were bought at very expensive cost. And now, the investigation has been done. There are people that have been mentioned. There are, companies that have been mentioned. And the president is now saying the public must have confidence in him towards, fighting corruption. Who is best suited to ensure that they seal these loopholes? He has picked the NYS. NYS is a disciplined force. Military is a disciplined force. And they listen to the commander. So what can be said is that in the event that something changes in terms of their management, because I'm told that from your reporting the other day, you said, they have secured the emails, they have secured the ICT centers. It means they're trying to check where is the communication going, where is it coming from, who is involved. I believe that is one way of strategy of fighting corruption. And in the course of time, we will be told that this is what happened. So for me, I don't see anything wrong there. I made to understand also that people want to go to court. They're free to go to court. But you know what? Going to court and securing billions that are being stolen and then blame the same government are two different things. We must protect the public funds, whatever means, and use legal means. Okay, that's interesting. Perhaps trust in the authority might be brought back, but Kenyans are still asking about the prosecution. Heads need to roll due to the amount of money that was lost recently at Kemsa. And that's the big question. Will restructuring Kemsa actually bring prosecution? That's what we'll be interrogating right after this short break we're taking. Gentlemen, stay with me. I will